Hey there, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a video that I actually grabbed from Joss Jane. She did a mention of me in a video recently of kind of 10 fragrances that surprised her in a good way, and one of them was a fragrance that she kind of was inspired to buy based off of my channel, so I decided I would carry on and do this video based on my opinion. So I will link her video in the description box below, and honestly I love this idea because there's so many more fragrances I could have put in this type of video since I blind buy over 90% of my collection, and so I'm being surprised by fragrance, good and bad, quite often, honestly, with most of my purchases, as I say. So most of the time, because I've been blind buying for so long and I did the whole video on blind buying and my techniques, I'm surprised in a good way, but sometimes it really does surprise me. Like, these are fragrances that went above and beyond to surprise me. I have some new ones, some more oldies, some celebrities, some designer. I don't really have any niche now that I'm looking at it, but so they're all pretty affordable, and we will get right into it. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. I put out videos all the time. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for some more behind the scenes stuff. We chat a lot on there. And yeah, I'm gonna start with a celebrity fragrance, and this is actually the same one that Joss said she purchased, partly at least, and because of my videos. And for me, honestly, it's the same. It really did surprise me, and that's Thank You Next by Ariana Grande. I feel like everyone was collectively surprised by Cloud, which I also do own up there somewhere. But once, I don't want to say the hype of that died down, but once everyone pretty much knew that Cloud was great, and myself especially, I was so surprised because her previous fragrances were not my jam at all, and I had just written her off completely in terms of fragrance. And so Cloud really surprised me, but a second surprise, which I didn't expect to be so good, was Thank You Next. And I tried this in store for ages, you guys. It took so long for me to pick this up because I was still like mentally refusing that it would be that good, but it really is. It's sweeter and tartar, and or more tart. It's so hard to explain why I would love this as much as I do, because I feel like it has elements to it where in theory, I wouldn't be into it, but it's really, really nice. And again, like Cloud, incredible lasting power, very sweet, marshmallow-like. My main thing that I love to do is layer and wear Cloud and Thank You Next together, but Thank You Next is beautiful on its own as well. So it was super surprising that I would like two of her fragrances in a row, and I'm really glad I picked it up. I'm really glad I have it as part of my collection. I got the larger bottle because I knew at that point that I loved it, so I'm really glad I got that. And yeah, that's my number one. Then a newer fragrance into my collection. I think you guys will have just seen me haul this, but I've had it a little bit longer than obviously you've just seen the haul, and it completely surprised me, you guys, and I've been wearing it ever since I picked it up, and that's DKNY's Nectar Love. I'm in love with this fragrance, and I don't know if it's just a phase I'm going through, and in a couple months from now you guys will ask me and I'll just be over it, because I'm still surprised by how much I like this, but I love this fragrance, and I totally picked it up on a whim. I mean, more than a whim than usual, because I pick up a lot of fragrances on the whim, but it's like a really beautiful take on honey. It, to me, smells very much like a honey conditioner, like a hair conditioner. And I know that may be kind of like an obscure thought because it's like, what conditioner? But if you guys get your nose on this, I know there's other people out there who will know what I mean. It smells like honey conditioner. And one of the main notes in this that intrigued me to this is people kept saying it smells like honeycomb. Like, it's got a very distinct, apparently, honeycomb note. And for me, I was trying to smell honeycomb in terms of like when you can actually buy like honeycomb from farmers markets or grocery stores, and that smells a lot more like sickly sweet and very syrupy, obviously. And this doesn't smell that syrupy to me, or even that waxy. It smells definitely like honey and kind of a light floral. But there is an intrigue in the honey in this. It's not like honey in any other fragrance, and maybe that's what the honeycomb note is like, or is meant to smell like. For example, I've got, you know, like honeyed florals. It doesn't smell like Scandal, which I'm not a huge fan of because of the honey. I like the floral part of it, and it doesn't even smell like Honey by Marc Jacobs, which I also like. That's more of like a honey shampoo, and this is a honey conditioner. Again, I know that's crazy to kind of put out there, but seriously, you guys, I was expecting so little from this fragrance, because DKNY hasn't been the best for me, and honey it can go either way, and I'm so glad I picked it up. Again, I mentioned in the haul, but if you guys live in Canada, this is a fragrance that I found on sale at Shoppers, so keep an eye out. Not in the $19.99 section, but definitely on sale. I think it was like in the 30s or 40s, so keep an eye out for that. Then we'll move on to the Hermes fragrance that surprised me so much. I picked this up in a Christmas, or like a sort of Christmas set, perfume set from Marshall's, so it was an incredibly good deal, and I remembered having smelled it years ago when I smelled like all the eau de fragrances from Hermes, but in general I was just expecting eau de Rhubarbe Eclarate to be like a rhubarb fragrance, which it is. It's definitely rhubarb centric. It's definitely sour and tart in the beautiful way. Of course I have to drop everything. In the beautiful way that rhubarb can be, but that wouldn't have surprised me. That would have just been, okay, this is a great fragrance I like. I know I like it. I love rhubarb, so it works for me. What surprised me is the musk in this. And it's unexpected because usually very tart fragrances don't have the kind of musk that this has. It's light, and you only really get it later on, and I mean, it's in the dry down, definitely, in the base of the fragrance, but you get it kind of a little bit into wearing it, and because it's an eau de cologne, it doesn't last a long time. It isn't meant to have any type of huge lasting power beast mode sillage, but once the extreme tartness kind of goes away or lessens to an extent, which I love the tartness, but the musk left behind is so, I don't know, like innocent and unexpected. I just love it, and I cannot say enough good things about Eau de Rhubarbe Eclarate. The set actually came with a mini that I gifted to my mom because it's so beautiful, and it would have been a really unexpected scent for her since she would have just thought it just kind of smelled like rhubarb, like myself, which isn't her jam, but the musk really changed it up, and it also came with like a soap that was scented with this that I have not used yet. But yeah, totally recommend Eau de Rhubarbe Eclarate, and keep an eye out at Marshall's. Maybe you can find the gift sets for super inexpensive as well. All right, then we get to one I've talked about before, so I won't spend a lot of time on this. Secret Obsession by Calvin Klein totally surprised me. I mean, this was one of the most surprising blind buys I've ever had. It is so intoxicating and delicious and really beautiful, incredible sillage on this. The sillage on this is to die for. And I feel like I like the fragrance so much, how it smells like, obviously, when you smell it on your skin or if you get it on your clothing. Like, as I'm smelling it on here, it's beautiful, but it takes a whole other life when you're smelling it in your own sillage all around you. It's got great lasting power. I can't say enough good things about it. And on top of that, it's incredibly inexpensive to find. I mean, the 100 ml bottles are usually in like the $19.99 to $29.99 range at drugstores in Canada. Online, they're gonna be around the same price. I think the bottle, the fact that it's Calvin Klein, and even the fact that it's like a flanker of the original Obsession, which I've never liked, and they're so different. kind of make this one go under the radar, and it's so underrated. Surprised me in the most brilliant way, and I cannot recommend it enough. Then a fragrance I picked up this year that I was expecting to like, and I ended up completely falling in love, is Valentino Donna's Born in Roma. I knew I would like this because I'm like, okay, it's a floral, it's slightly, I don't know, maybe slightly nutty, and I mean, up until now, I haven't had a lot of Valentino ones, but the ones that I have, I've liked. I was expecting to like it, but oh my God, do I adore it. It is so beautiful, so feminine, so, I don't know, unexpectedly actually really beautiful. And the only bad thing about this is you don't expect it. It's also an unexpected thing, is that you'll spray it and you think that it will be something that will last around an average amount of time. I didn't think it'd be beast mode, but I thought it would be average, and it really isn't. The lasting power on this is quite poor. It's deceiving because you don't think it would be, and it completely disappears, but I just love this. I love the bottle, I love the fragrance. It doesn't have a cap that blocks the atomizer, which I know is an issue for some people, so I thought I'd point that out. But honestly, for me, even though it doesn't even last, I am still a huge fan, so love that. Then by Givenchy, Dahlia Divin, and that is, I think, one of the many Dahlia fragrances that Givenchy has, but this is the only one I've tried, and I think mine is the Eau de Toilette, I'm pretty sure. I'm actually not sure. But I have Dahlia Divin, and I know that there's people really rave about the Nectar one, and pretty much all the other flankers and the original other than this. I never really hear much about this one. I think it got discontinued because I got mine super on sale at the drugstore, but again, was expecting to just like it and not fall in love, and it's very sweet. It's a very sweet floral. So I do have friends who've tried this and been like, oh, it's so beautiful, but it's a little too sweet for them. I love sweet fragrances and I love florals, so it totally works for me, but I thought I'd mention, it is a sweet fragrance. It's definitely a sweet floral. But again, it's just so beautiful. Like, I was expecting to just like it, but I find myself reaching for it quite a bit, and I moved my fragrances around. My fragrances are kind of stored in like 3 places, and depending on where they are, I might reach for one more than the other. So I need to kind of pull this one out again because I changed it to somewhere that's less accessible, but it really is beautiful and it lasts a very long time. It's super ultra feminine and very sweet. So I feel like men would probably like that one a lot, but for you guys out there that are purchasing for yourselves, you gotta really like a sweet fragrance. I will say that. Then by Dior, super surprising, Poison Girl Eau de Toilette. I again was just expecting to feel kind of iffy about this, if only because I was under the impression that the only 2 I liked from the Poison line were Hypnotic Poison and Pure Poison. And the original Poison never works for me. I own it, but it's very hard to wear for me. And this one, complete opposite. Some days I will even wear this over Hypnotic Poison, which is saying a lot. But what I love especially about this fragrance, which is a very niche thing to say, but what really turned it for me was that it reminds me of this lipstick that my mom wore on her wedding day. And I remember she didn't wear it while I was growing up anymore, but she always kept it, and it smelled divine, and it didn't have any label and it didn't have anything. We just would smell it, and I always thought to myself, because I've loved fragrance since I was, I don't know, since before I could even really express all of the words needed. I was like very young when I was obsessed with, obviously, like my mom's fragrances growing up. Like I remember being 2 or 3 and being obsessed with her like 3 bottles. But I loved that lipstick, and I think recently I asked her, and I think she threw it out, which is so devastating to me, because I always had this dream that if I ever made fragrance one day, like my own, I would make one that smelled like that lipstick. And this Poison Girl doesn't smell like that lipstick, and it's not a lipsticky fragrance, but it has the hint of it. There's like, if you really, really smell it, it doesn't smell like it, but deep, deep, deep down, there's a hint of something in this that smells like that lipstick, and it's so nostalgic for me, hence the nostalgic, my name, but it's so nostalgic for me, and it's so beautiful, and I don't even care that the lasting power on this is, again, mediocre at best, because I no longer have that lipstick, and if I ever try to make a scent that resembles it, at least I have that to kind of work off of and not just my own memory. Then we move on to another super surprising one from this summer, Michael Kors Wanderlust Sublime. Michael Kors has never worked for me until this. This is such a beautiful summer fragrance. I've said it before, but this just transports me to California. This is the quintessential, like, surfer girl, kind of like Laguna Beach, Santa Monica type California fragrance. It's like sun-kissed skin, beachy florals, a little bit of sunscreen, but not sunscreen-like. Like, it just evokes so much of that imagery, and I love it. I've tried one of the other flankers recently, actually, by Michael Kors, and I even liked one of the flankers, but this one, it has a special place in my heart, and I cannot wait to wear it again all of next summer because it's so, so beautiful. And finally, we finish off the set with two celebrity fragrances. One that I've had for a lot longer, I will talk about first. The Key by Justin Bieber. I have Melissa Jean to thank for this. I think a lot of us do. And even, it was so weird because for such a long time, obviously this was like in the 1999 section, and I was like, never in my life am I gonna pick up a Justin Bieber fragrance. Not that I'm a perfume snob, because I have a whole lot of celebrity fragrances, but I was like, there's no way it is gonna smell like what, for example, Nicki Minaj fragrances smell like, and not at all into them. And I just always wrote it off. I wrote off all his fragrances, and I didn't even think anything of it. And she raved about how much she loved this fragrance and how clean and fresh it was, and how she didn't expect to love it so much. And oh my god. And then I picked it up. It was probably like $15. I'm not even sure. I picked it up online, and oh my god, did this blow me away. It is so beautiful, unexpected, kind of clean, shampoo-y floral. But there's something about this. It completely stands out. If this were in any other bottle by any other person, it would be a favorite amongst many. I'm certain about that. And I really, really like it. This is one I would repurchase. I won't get backups or anything because I've come out of that game. But this is one I'd easily repurchase if I ran out. And because it's opaque, I can't tell where I'm at. But honestly, I feel like I must at least be halfway through because it's such an easy reach too. I just love it. It's got great lasting power. The sillage on this is beautiful. And if you get it on clothing, I feel like it lasts even longer, and I cannot say enough good things about it. The other celebrity fragrance, which is my 10th and last, is also a very new part of my collection. Completely blew me away. Even in my haul, Truth or Dare Naked by Madonna. I can't even really describe, there is something about this that is beyond delicious to me. And I wouldn't have it, because I feel like there's chocolate and vanilla or cocoa, things that I would have never expected to be into, because I'm not really a gourmand person. But, and this won't make sense because none of the notes in here I feel like have a way to make this kind of combination, but there is later on, once it rests on your skin, a kind of, and it took me a while to get there, but a kind of like cacao, like sweetened cacao powder scent, but straight out of the bottle, like when I spray it, there is something that makes me think of like grape candy, and I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if there's like maybe an orange blossom in here that is giving off a grapey feel, but grape candy. And I search far and wide for grapey fragrances because I love like synthetic grape freezy, for example, if you guys had freezies growing up, or like grape popsicle, like grape candy. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. In fact, a lot of people hate like fake grape scent, but there was something fake grapey about this that I love, and then it gets into like a sweetened cacao pop. I just can't say enough good things about it. Again, this is very hard to find. I'm so glad I picked it up. I almost want to get a backup, but I hold myself back because I'm not in that game anymore. But this is beautiful, and it makes me think, if I ever see the Truth or Dare, the original, which I think is supposed to be more of a tuberose type fragrance, if I ever see it again, I will not look past it and I will pick it up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was so fun for me to do because I just have so many fragrances that have surprised me over the years, and those are the best ones, the absolute best blind buys when you think you're either iffy about it or you think you're gonna like it, and it even surpasses your expectations and it becomes a total love. All of these are gems. I hope you will check them out. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!